Guys, you know the score by now. And if you don't, you need to get onto it because the Sly Guy podcast has a Patreon. That's right, www.patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast, where you can be an inslider. I just made that phrase up right now, but I'm going to use it again. You get early access to the weekly podcast. You get the extra Sly Guy podcast. You get to ask questions for this podcast, the full works, over at patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. So for what are you waiting for? For as little as £2 a month, you can get all those perks, plus some very fun, exciting changes coming very soon. So patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. The Sly Guy podcast is also brought to you in association with Modest Beer. Do you like beer? Yeah. Do you like boasting? No. Well, this is the beer for you because this beer is Modest Beer. Even though Modest Beer is delicious, they don't boast about it. They don't gloat. They just supply incredible beers just for you guys. And speaking of just for you guys, if you want a wee bit of extra, you want to be 15% off the checkout of your merch or of your beer, you can use the code SLYPA15 at checkout. That's SLYPA15, SLYPA, number 5 at checkout. Modest Beer, go check it out.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Sly Guy podcast with me, your host, Dave Elliott. Hope you guys are feeling well wherever you are getting the podcast today. I don't know what you are up to, what's going on in the world, wherever you listen. I'm always keen to know that. Like, where do people listen to podcasts? For me, I listen to podcasts when I'm driving in the car or I'm just running about doing things in the house. Normally when I'm by myself because I've got my earphones in and the kids are kicking about. Normally I have to keep an ear out for them to make sure they're not killing each other. But for the most part, yeah, I just get to do it when I'm listening by myself. But some people like it in the gym, which is weird. I don't know whether I would listen to myself or I'd rather listen to like Creed, but obviously Creed all day long in the gym. But I hope you are well wherever it is you are listening, whatever it is you are doing. I hope you are good, and it's the middle of January now. Hopefully everyone's still sticking to their New Year's resolutions, still feeling positive and healthy with an optimistic outlook for what this year will bring. And if you're not feeling too optimistic, you're feeling a bit down the dumps, you want to be optimistic, well, look no further than this week's episode of the podcast. It was a very fun, silly time. We spoke about honeymoons a little bit on this week's podcast, which was good fun. There was some shout outs to our boy Quasimodo, you know, and there was a jump scare, which I think is maybe the first time on the podcast that we've had an actual jump scare, and it's worked. But it was a fun episode, and there's nothing else you would expect other than a fun episode whenever I get to invite in my best friend to the podcast. That's right. If you don't know that by now, my best friend is none other than Diona Doherty. What an episode it was. We could have gone on for probably 2 to 3 hours here, just having the crack, just two friends having fun. But unfortunately, I have to go and like do stuff, like chores and everything, and make dinner and all. And she has to go and like do work and all, and probably collect her kids and stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't to be. But one day, we will do a marathon episode of like 3 hours or something. She'll never agree to that. But in the meantime, just enjoy this week's episode of the Sly Guy podcast with me, Dave Elliott, and my guest, Diona Doherty. Chilly?
I've been cold since I woke up. I'm cold all the time.
See, come around slightly.
I definitely have circulatory issues.
Are you concerned about it? We're just off. This is it. Diona, welcome to the podcast.
Hiya, what's the crack?
We were just chatting about life problems there. I'll make sure my phone's in airplane mode. What's the crack with your circulation? Let's go. Dr. Dave, let's have it.
I think I've had cold hands and feet my whole life. So I've definitely got circulatory.
Have you kept in, or has it been a secret, or is it?
I'm finally ready to talk about it. Play sad music over this.
Okay, there's always sad music. I've had the circulation problems.
Finally ready to talk about it. I would get blue lips and all. I just stopped wearing blue lipstick.
Yeah, see, that's a problem.
That is the problem.
Like, it's very like naughty. Like Spice Girls would have worn a wee dose of blue lipstick in the day in their videos.
Or like I'm seeing Faye from Steps.
Yes.
A deeper shade of blue.
Didn't they do?
And they would have had like
what
ice.
About that one? It's like, we are only a heartbeat away. Baby.
Oh my God. Do you know what was the best thing about Stars in Their Eyes? Is we all got to be a bit of a pop star for the night.
You know what? The only downside for me was I was really dying. I would have liked to have more fun. Oh,
you flew.
Yeah, I was. But you know what? I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
You were brilliant.
Thank you. Cheers. It was.
Do you know what I love is that everybody actually was a good singer.
Surprisingly, I thought there'd be some stinkers.
So did I. There wasn't really anybody who was shit.
No.
As a singer, like.
No, it was a really fun night. If you were to do it again, who would you do? Would you do something different?
I I think
Or just Nicki Minaj. I'm just doing Robbie Williams, exact same.
Just the exact
every
same
time,
one.
yeah.
I did Nicki Minaj Super Bass. I think I would do something like, is it like a Limp Bizkit basket case, or do something?
Oh, Green Day.
Or Green Day. Do you know? No, is it Green Day?
Green Day basket case, yeah.
Or just like, I think I would do a guy.
Yeah, because
That's what you said.
I had actually a backup in case I didn't have any ability to sing. That I
Right.
was going to do. I was Missy Gray. So if I couldn't have sung, I was going to do Missy Gray. Just get a big fro. I tried, yeah.
To say goodbye.
Yep. So I might do that next time and see what the people think.
They're see, sort of, Sean drove himself mad trying to figure out what song he was going to do,
Yeah.
because the whole time he was like, oh, I want a crowd pleaser and I want people to sing along and all.
And he did that one. He did.
And then that one he did, where like there's no singing along at all. But he chose one that was funny.
But he was really good.
His was really
Like
funny.
I thought he was really, really good.
So did I.
Because again, before I was like, I don't know, like you have to do that
You have
properly,
to go,
and he was great.
You have to go for it, and you also have to get it in time. So he did United States of whatever, because obviously there's like no music for ages. Where you go, I was walking down the street, then it's Gak, and then you have to
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever, and then the beat comes in, so you have to have that timed perfectly.
But I thought it was great. You know, I think there was like, I thought there was a lot of people that were good. I actually thought that maybe the top three weren't the top three, really. You know,
Well,
but I mean,
this is
listen,
the
I can only go by what the feedback is from the
This-
supporters. You know,
Do you know what though? It was a Tea With Me Patreon exclusive, so obviously Tea With Me fans are there, and they obviously hold Shane in such high esteem. His was great too. So obviously it's going to be in the top three. Oh no,
Yeah.
it was the judges put them
Yeah,
in the top.
exactly,
Well, it was
so-
the judges like a nurses.
but but no, Shane did say, he was like, look, I don't think I would have been in the top three.
He did say he thinks that you and I should have been,
Yeah, he said actually.
but then
I
he
don't
probably
think-
said that to you and I. Probably would have
Yeah.
been everybody.
But
And
no,
was
he-
all you should have
In
been.
fairness, he said he didn't actually think it was the top three in the second half, and I was like, that's respectful of you, Shane.
He didn't think you were top.
No, he was top three in the second half.
Oh right,
So that was, very humble of him.
there only was about four.
I know, but you and me were the other two in the second
Oh,
half. So
okay,
that was kind
okay.
of him, kind
Yeah.
of him to say.
But isn't it?
But-
Do you know what I love now that there's like so many fun things that all the comedians are doing together outside
Yeah.
of just stand up. Like it's
Yeah.
great that there's like people are creating these opportunities to just do fun things.
Yeah, and is there anything you would like to do next, or anything you?
I
feel
had
like,
said
anything you'd like to go for?
Straight after the Stars Night, I says, "Oh, would it not be great for us all to do like a Comedians Got Talent, where you have to not singing, no one's out to sing because that's the
Yeah.
Stars and Rise thing, but everyone had to learn. Like, say you learned some magic."
Yeah. Oh no. I get arrested. It was a nonce if I did magic. They'd be like, "Why is he 37 learning magic?" And I'd be like, "God dear."
Why is that bunny in that hat dead?
Yeah. And they'd be like, "Oh, why is it not a bunny?" Like, yeah, have some of that. It'd be a big problem. I did pitch the next one should be Naked Attraction. That'd be a good crack.
That'd be hilarious if you had to guess who was who.
And like, you're not dating them; you're just guessing.
Do you know it'd be really weird if like the first, if it was like a comedian's Naked Attraction, and the first like like the thing starts to move up and you see the first bit of the body and it's just feet, and someone's like, "That's Williams," and you're all,
Yeah.
"Why do you have a foot fetish? How do you know what
Yeah.
everyone's feet looks like?"
You know the people who are fans of the podcasts in general, like they would probably know that sort of weird stuff. Some of them are like really weird.
Somebody contacted me a couple months ago, right? I had said in a clip from our podcast, it was like a side mention in the clip about having a chronically sore back. And I was like, I have a really sore back, and it's probably from having 2 kids recently and carrying them all the time. And you know yourself, when you have kids, you spend most of your time picking stuff off the ground, bend over, lifting stuff up, bend over, picking stuff up, and your back just gets
Well,
it,
I
right?
just dropped down.
You slut drop. I saw a TikTok recently or Instagram, whatever, that was like, "Oh, I knew this would come in handy soon," and it's a girl
Yeah.
holding her baby, and then just like slut drops to the ground, picks up a dirty nappy and up again. I thought, yeah, that reminds me of the nightclub days. But anyway, I put up, this was the clip in the video, and somebody contacted me and said, a few years ago, you put up a photograph of you drinking champagne from a flute that you were holding between your toes. And I'm here to let you know that your sore back is because you have a condition called such and such that I can tell that you have from the shape of your feet. And I was like, and then they were like, "Oh, you get in touch if you want me to help you out further." And I thought, "No, thanks. I like my arsehole the way it is."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like this pair, and this video, I mean,
Yeah.
was like 3 or 4 years ago on Instagram. I had like put up I literally was holding the Prosecco glass and I'm necking it with my feet, and it's like banter before I
Yeah.
had kids, maybe probably. And this guy has remembered it since then.
A guy. See, that's where you go.
Yeah.
Bit weird.
And almost certain it was a guy, and then you're like, how did you look at the shape of my foot, and then go, "Oh, she has."
Yeah. Spina
Bent,
bifida.
yeah.
So, like, that doesn't mean I
Yeah,
have
she
that.
has autism, so she's
Yeah.
got a sore back.
Like, imagine you're just, hey, shocker, flexible. What
I
about
know,
that?
but he's saying it's from the shape of my foot, whatever way the shape of my foot is. And of course, I'm going to get a sore back because of the shape of my foot.
But do you find, like, on a separate note, that your body is just, sometimes things will happen and you'll be like, that just did, ow, and for nothing?
All the time now.
Yeah.
Do you ever get out of bed just like you would every day and you pull a muscle and you're like, you are absolutely disabled for 3 weeks and you're like,
yeah.
oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
At least that should have happened from something like somebody punched me in the head, but all I did was wake up today and now I can't do anything
I've
for
had
3
like
weeks.
3 things in and around my neck in the last while that I've gone, that shouldn't happen. The most recent was I was doing squats the other day because I'm gym guy again now, and I heard a wee crack in my neck. I was like, oh, that's not. And then the next morning I was reaching down the cupboard to get the cereal out for the kids, and I just went, ugh, and this here was just like, whatever this was, just so sore. I was like, agony. Then I think sometimes I flop my arm too much when I'm in bed, and then I think, like,
Why is your arm a gap in bed?
because it's under the pillow, and I
Your
just
arm
think,
goes under your pillow when you
and
sleep?
I think, like, I must have, like, loosened my arm so much that I, like, did a shoulder injury. I thought that was one that was pretty shit.
Do you know I still have a fear of lying on my... So I've slept on my stomach my whole life, but obviously when you're pregnant, you can't sleep on your stomach because that's murder.
Yes.
So you have to sleep on your side of your back.
Get that bloody
So annoying.
pesky murder.
And so I like... But after you have... Does Catherine sleep on her stomach?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I just
No,
can't.
but then you're like,
Yeah.
are you asleep yet? So then, after you have your baby, obviously you can sleep on your belly, but it takes ages to have the confidence to lie down on your belly because you couldn't lie down on your belly for like a long time. And then it takes a while to build the confidence back up. And I remember the first time going, I'm just going to do it. And I lay down on my belly and you feel as if you're like, you should be crushing something.
Yeah.
It's like a weird sensation to get over. But now, when I lie down to go to sleep, I have to convince myself to go into I'm most comfortable on my belly, but I'm always thinking, what if there's a baby in there and I'm crushing it?
Yeah, but is that like that thing, where they say if you, like, lose a limb, you still
Phantom
get
limb.
itchy?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you phantom baby.
I've got phantom baby,
Could be.
phantom belly.
And, like, only way I think to get through that, maybe message that guy back to be like, listen, I know you know a thing or two about feet, but what about phantom? Because
What about phantom babies?
I would maybe pop, like, Rocky into, like, a wee cot beside your bed and then just lie down and be like, it's okay, because my mind
know
knows he's there. I'm
Yeah.
not.
My mind is telling me no.
But yeah, the body's a fucking weird thing, isn't it? Like,
I find every now and then I look in the mirror and I be all, oh my god, I am my age now. Like I'm 35 very soon, and I'm all you are. Whereas up until a couple of years ago, I could have passed myself for 5 or 10 years younger. I probably looked 21 until I was about 30, and then as soon as I hit 30, it was like, no, you know, and
Kids.
I know.
kids, they itch it, because I genuinely believe that they gain their power and strength by like a witch and like in Game of
They
Thrones or
drink up
something,
your
like-
youth.
Yeah, because, like, genuinely, I have gone grey and bald since I've had Matilda. Like, she is just,
Aye.
and it's like, and I know I'm old anyway, but then you see other people and you're like, you still think you're kind of like hip and down with the kids.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and then I think it's almost weird when you get to, like, this age and you still think you're like, what are you trying to do?
Exactly, and you're like,
Yeah.
I look at, like, my eldest stepson. He's just turned 20, and I'm all, that's so mad because I'm 20.
Yeah.
I know how that works out. When are you 40?
3 years.
3 years, you're 37. No, but that's okay, because I'm just thinking about, are you going to plan anything exciting, or is there like a bucket list thing before you're 40?
Me and, like, my schoolmates, we're all obviously coming 40 the same year, so we have started
Except for that dickhead Nigel got held back a year.
Yeah, no, that's always weird. Like, you're always going to be a perv, aren't you? If
Yeah.
you're, like, held back a year, weird.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a guy came in like our year from the year above, from our year and the year above, and I just never quite trusted him. Like, you've an agenda.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, he had tragedy in his family and they had to get kept back. But, to me, I'm like, I still don't trust you.
Yeah.
still a
Like,
bit
not
weird.
like, yeah, your mum might have died, but you're a weirdo.
Yeah, it's like, why are you a pervert and a pedo? Why are you hanging around with these young kids? You're 16, you're 17, we're 16, but still, what are
His
you doing?
mum died and made him a pedo.
Yeah, it's like your whole family died in a house fire, but why are you here? Why are you? You must be something wrong with you. You're the only one survived, and why are you
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Orphan guy, you
It was
live
the
by
fella with
yourself.
matches,
what are you
did it?
doing? Yeah. But it's always it's so weird. Like, and I just think, like, yeah, I still feel young at heart, and then that makes you feel older. You're like, oh, I'm still, and then you like hear stuff, and you go, no.
What will you do then if you're 40?
Oh yes, so the guys, we have put money aside and we're going away somewhere. The initial plan was, I think, Vegas, but now we're talking about Oktoberfest, or we're talking
That's
about,
a
like,
great idea.
yeah, so we pay like 25 quid a month into, like, one of the guys keeps it all together.
Already
And
towards
yeah.
your 40th? That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
How many of those are you?
I think there's 10. 8 or 10
Wow.
of us, yeah. So
That'll be great.
it'll be a lot of fun. But then we're also paying into our 50 as well.
Are you?
Yeah, so it can be a big one, you know. I'll
It'd be
probably go to
so-
like wine
It'd
country
be
or
so
something.
sad if it gets to your 50th and like somebody didn't make it and you're like, what will we do with Kevin's $3,000?
Kitty!
Yeah.
He would have wanted it. And you're like, no, I think he would have wanted a headstone. Ah, fuck him.
Yeah.
Kevin. You're a kitty.
We could we could give it to his wife and kids, or we could get
Yeah,
hammered.
or what we could do is we get 2 women in bikinis to bring a big box with a sparkler and a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
That's what Kevin would have wanted.
That $3,000 on that.
Yeah.
Have you been to Vegas before?
No, it's one place I've never. It's never been like I'd love to go there.
I know, me
It's like I
neither.
just don't. It's. I mean, I don't know. It just looks too fabricated to me. It's a bit like Dubai. I'm sort of a bit like I could take or leave there.
I love that you went Dubai instead
Yeah.
of just Dubai.
Yeah.
I liked Dubai,
Yeah.
but like I wouldn't rush back either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also think now I am really bad for like, see if people do stuff and it's like all for show. I'm like, it's not a bit of me. I've got substance about me.
When I was
Substance
planning
abuse.
my honeymoon, it was around the time everyone was doing like, do you know, like those Maldives villas?
Yeah.
And they're like water villas.
Yeah.
But then I actually spoke to someone who did go on one, and she was like, well, it's sort of boring.
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing to do. Like you're in the water villa, obviously there's about
Yeah.
10, 15 of them, and then you go have your meals in like the place that you can, like the restaurant or whatever, but like there's these tiny
Yeah.
islands, there's nothing else to do.
See, I like to do stuff.
So I like to do stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't be
love-
lying about sunbathing all day, not with my Irish
And,
skin.
and honeymoons as well. Like I think people in like before you're married, they're like, oh, why you're just gonna go away and it's gonna be
Buck,
hanky
buck, buck.
panky all the time. When really you get there and you're like, actually, no, I don't really want that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
love you and all, but no, I'm sweet. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Like,
that's watch a movie.
Yeah, like just. But we split our honeymoon because Catherine wanted to bring the kid, and I didn't. So we went for like 4 days to Budapest, the two
Yeah.
of us, which was great.
Yeah.
Budapest, top spot.
That was the first, I think it was the first trip Sean and I went on
Yeah.
together, was Budapest. We
Did you
loved
enjoy
it.
it? Yeah,
Loved
Budapest.
it.
I thought it was great.
Class.
And then
Did you go do dinner on the Danube in a wee cruise?
we didn't actually.
It was lovely.
No, because I went there on a stag do earlier,
Alright.
and I felt weird about going back. I was like, whoa, you know,
Yeah.
what would it be like? But then it was either that or Prague. I'm like, well, I definitely can't go back to Prague, so we'll go to Budapest instead.
Okay.
Because the memories I have of Prague would not be good to mix with
your
the memories of a
yeah,
honeymoon,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So yeah, well, that was good. And then we went to Lanzarote for a week
with Holly?
Yeah, and it was great too. And then
So Holly would have been really wee.
Holly was, I think, I want to say 10 months.
I have no interest in bringing my child on a plane.
Yeah. No, you know what? I don't know if you've ever found this, but I think the worst is going to happen with my kids anywhere
Oh,
I
aye.
go. And it's going to be super stressful. It's going to be horrendous. They're going to do my head in.
Yeah.
They're going to be, and then when it's not that bad, you're like, that's okay. And then we brought Matilda on the last plane and she was a dick.
Aye. Do you know what I like? 'Cause Sean and I went away there last weekend with the kids, and we stayed somewhere that it was class, but it's very small. It was so small. It was like an Airbnb, but it was like a cabin sort of thing. It was quite small, which was part of the whole aesthetic of it, was like this sort of cute, compact wee place. But then you bring 2 kids into it, and we're all sleeping so close to each other,
Yeah.
and like we all sleep in different bedrooms, and I'm like, Rocky has white noise on, and like I just like if one of them wakes, then they're all awake, and that's what I could never bring my kids to a hotel room.
Yeah. Because that's what we
I
found.
need separate bedrooms.
Whenever we were on holidays with Holly, she went to bed at 7.
Aye.
And then we were like, well, we can't go out now. So
know.
we just kind of.
And like
then-
one time we took Winter to the Slave Donard, but before I had Rocky, I was pregnant with Rocky, and we were like, well, and I'm normally like a nap Nazi, and like exactly like bedtime has to be bedtime, and I'm regimented like that because I'm like, I know what will happen if she gets overtired. But then she became in such a routine that we get to like 5 to 7, and she come over to me and she'd be, well, can I go to bed?
Yeah.
Like it's like since she's about 1.5,
Yeah.
and like we were in the Slave Donard, and I said, well, we'll just keep her up. We'll bring her down to the restaurant in her jammies. She can run around. It's going to be dead cute. I'll have a pretend glass of wine. There'll be music on. It'll be great. 5 to 7, she was like, can I please go to bed? And I was like, well, we're going to go down. And she was like, no, I really want to go to bed.
But
And we tried to sit
could
there.
you lie to her and be like, it's not your bedtime yet? Or would she be like, I know?
She knows, her body knows, and she's like, well, she'd be like, well, I'll show you, and I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
So I just put her on the cot, turned the light off. Sean went straight to sleep, and I sat on my phone with my earphones in under the covers in the Slave Donner till about 10 o'clock.
That's parent life, isn't it?
Pointless. I was like, what a
That's-
waste
yeah.
of £400. And like, going away on holidays too, I'd be like, it'll just be the same.
But the only thing is, during the day on holidays, great, like swimming pool and
I know.
activities and stuff. But
Do you know what I think?
sounded
The
so
holiday to
disabled
me.
there, didn't
Pardon?
I sounded so disabled.
You
there.
sounded like you'd things in your
holidays
mouth.
and activities. Yeah.
But more like it would be great if they were like past napping age. They were
Yeah.
older and they weren't napping anymore, and you could just go like run around mad.
Do you know what? My kids were. It's like a gift and a curse. It's like
Aye.
they didn't do daytime napping, but they've always had, for the most part, good nighttime sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's like, what would you have? Would you rather have like a solid 12-hour sleep at night and no nap? Then see during the day when you had to re-nap, that was the time that you got to do anything.
You
that
can sit
didn't get
down,
done. Yeah,
you can
and
have
it's
a coffee or just fucking reset or clean their mess or all that sort of stuff.
See the incessant mess.
I know, it's constant.
Oh.
I think for my Sean and I talked about for my 40th going away on like a big trip ourselves, because obviously I have like pure anxiety about leaving the kids. I never like to leave them like with other people for very long. But I think we will go back to New York. My 40th's not for another 5 years.
Yeah.
But I think we'll go back to New York together and do like the shows. And
New York's so weird because like we've been a few times and then we're like, we've done it, and then after like a year we're like, I'm ready to go back again. It's like,
I've been a couple of times as well and I absolutely love it.
because we did the last time we went like the more sort of hipster way. So like I went with my sister bizarrely for the first time, and she did all the shows with me and all the thing. And then when I went with Catherine, we sort of
Just bucking.
yeah, flat out. And then it was actually for a mate's wedding. Darren and Helen.
That's right, Dan.
Yeah, so and it was a load of fun.
Yeah.
Because then all your mates are there too, and you can do fun stuff. You go to the pub
Yeah,
and all.
yeah.
And it was really good fun. But again, a lot of stuff was like looking about. But then we made that into a holiday for us. So afterwards we went to Washington and stuff, and it was
very good.
It was great. But then the next time we're like, right, we've done all the big attractions. Let's look for some cool, like nice restaurants, good coffee places. Went to Dumbo, hung about there a lot, and it was very cool.
What's
Recommended,
Dumbo?
like down under the something Brooklyn Bridge. It's like spells like Dumbo,
Oh,
and it's real cool.
but what is it?
Spot. It's like
Like an eatery?
it's it's just an area. It's like a district.
Oh,
Like you've
fucking
got
never heard of it.
Williamsburg and all. It's like around there. It's a cool spot.
I was doing a show. The first time I went to New York, I was doing a show, and
That's right.
it was called Alice Milligan, and it was like about this woman called Alice Milligan from like
Whoa.
I know from like 100 years ago, right?
You big fan
So
of
I'm
hers?
big fan. She was like an Irish language activist unionist, which is bizarre.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely
and a poet,
juxtaposition.
and she'd been like friends with like William Butler Yeats and people got there. But anyway, so she was so this is the show I was doing, and I was doing it in like I don't know the Irish Arts Centre or something. We did one of the shows, and this woman came over to me afterwards, and she was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe how much you look like Alice Milligan. It's crazy." And I was like, "What?" And I was all, "Do you think so?" And she was like, "It's like bizarre." And then she's like, "You're fantastic, loved it." And then she left, and her son, by the way, sat in the front row and ate a full bag of Doritos during the show, like a big bag. Like,
Did he have a want about him?
I think he 100%, he had a queer want about him, and he was in the front seat, and I was just like, why are you like, this is like a drama, like there's nothing funny about it, it's like a full 1 hour woman show drama. I'm crying on, he's like way through it, and she was like, you look just like Alice, it's crazy. And then she left, and then I was, oh, that's so mad. And then I saw her talking to like her husband from across the room, pointing to the poster that's on like the leaflet, and then pointing at me and being like, wow. And then I was like, oh my god, it's me on the poster, but it's all done like old timey. It's all made to look like it's an old photograph, like crackled and all. And I was all, that's a photo shoot. That's not that woman. She thinks that's that woman from. I was all, the reason I was all, what the hell? Alice Milligan was about 5'2" with bright red flaming ginger hair down to your arse, and this like tiny wee person, and I was like, I am the opposite of that.
Oh, that's so funny. I thought she was going to mug you, but you'd look like her, she'd be stinking, and you'd be like, what the fuck? Oh, no, I don't.
She's banging. I'm like, what? She's back? And she wasn't, but she was like so different to me. I was like,
oh no, sure, they didn't exist 100 years ago anyway. That's only a new thing.
Not on posters anyway.
All these woke people. Yeah, well, wanted posters. You know, but that's great. And then she's away now, being like, look how much this. I bet she looked up your social media and all. It's like how much she looks like Alice Milligan.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like, well, and they'd be like, yeah, whoa, she does.
She's still talking about it. I know, it's wild. I remember going and doing that show in New York, but and just being like, why would anyone here care? This is about.
I think that's not what you want to feel when you're there. Like, there's no business.
It's like,
who gives a fuck?
Who cares? I was all, who knows about this wee woman over here? this wee woman I'm doing this show about, who has heard of her in New York?
But nobody loves Ireland more than New York.
Yes.
So I'm sure there was people that cared.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They were all like, "Oh my god, she's my great aunt." Like they all think they're related to her.
And that's what I thought you were going to tell me, that the person was like Alice Milligan's like great granddaughter.
No, she's
or something
actually related. That would not surprise me. That is what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, but and did you enjoy doing that?
Oh my god, I loved it. It was great. And do you know what? It was like,
anybody there with you?
The other people from the show, like
I thought it was just a one-woman show.
It was a one-woman show, but there's a team.
Oh,
like, I'm not just knocking on theatre doors going, "Excuse me, is it okay if I do a wee show?" Like the director was there, and the stage manager, and the writer, who's now one of my best friends, Susanna, who wrote it.
Yes,
we met
she's
on
great.
that. We met on that job actually.
Did you have a lot of?
We did. Do you know what?
Nice.
We did that whole like. Do you like you're on like we were on like Fifth Avenue, like staying and stuff, and you're like drinking out in your balcony, and you're like. Do you know what though? I forgot about the time difference, and my agent sent me an audition whilst I was there, and I sat up drinking all night, and I got an email from him going, "Reminder, this is on in 2 hours," and I was all, "What?" And it was an Irish language thing as well.
Yeah.
And the person I was with, the director, spoke Irish, so I had to learn this. My Irish isn't great. I had to learn this script in Irish, like blocked basically. Do this audition with her out, like in one of the rooms, send it off, and I got the job.
Yeah, see.
But do you know what? The part was of this like hardened, like basic, like head of like the like Ra.
Yeah.
And I got it because I look back in the video and I look like a hard face. I'm like blocked going.
Was that the one you did with Frano?
Yes, he was on that as well.
Yeah, what guy?
Yeah, Penance he called it.
Yeah. And see, I would have watched that,
It's on
but
Amazon Prime.
I don't understand.
It's in Irish. It's in
Can you
subtitles
get
though.
subtitles? I may well watch it. Is it good?
I think it's great.
That's good.
We shot
'Cause
it in
I thought a
Donegal.
wee bit, you'd be like, nah.
No, it's good. It is. I think it is good.
I might watch it then. It's on Amazon Prime. Because
Listen,
Frano's my favourite actor now.
He is a phenomenal actor. Peter Coonan is
Peter
his name in real
Coonan,
life.
yeah. But he's Frano in Love Hate.
Yeah,
He
Fran.
was brilliant.
That's a bloody brilliant show.
Oh, it is a good show. I've watched the first series of Kin, and it's alright. It's not, there's no love hate though.
It's because that's the thing. No one's ever going to live up to Love Hate. The same way probably nothing will ever live up to Dairy Girls up here. Like there are so many brilliant scripts that get pitched and so many great like blaps, like even like Kieran Williams blap too. Like all the things that'll be so well. But everyone's like, but we're looking for the next Dairy Girls. But they're not really. They're just looking for Dairy Girls again.
Yeah, but see that's the thing. You're never, and maybe that's a curse of things, is you're always looking for something too similar when you're maybe missing out on. Like, I have a couple of wee things now I think are really good, and I think I might actually start knocking people out if they don't take them.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, you're being dense. Like, see some of the stuff that you do take.
Yeah, you're like, but it's mad. Like, I remember pitching an idea that was set on Rathlin to somebody, and they were all, "Oh, you wouldn't believe how many ideas we get pitched for stuff set on Rathlin." I was all, "Really?" And they were like, "Oh my god, you wouldn't believe."
What was the company? Was it local?
Yeah.
Was it? Rathlin's fun though.
You know them though. And but even then I remember going to having a meeting with a company in England, and they were like, and this girl was like, the first week I was here as producer in this company, I got pitched this idea, and it was like these gremlins that play with Lego, and like they also like get really hungry, and like this bizarre idea. And she and you wouldn't believe it, but like 2 weeks later I got pitched the exact same idea from somebody else. And I was all, no. She goes, nothing is original thought. Everything is like somebody else. You come up with something, you're all, oh my god, that's crazy. Like somebody else has actually thought of it already. You just have to think of it better and quicker and first.
Yeah, which is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're knackered.
Yeah, it is. Do you find like what in terms of, obviously you've got so many different strings to your bow. Is there anything like, because I certainly think
they're all
like,
just tied together very loosely.
It changes what you like to do more. Like, is there stuff that like maybe, and again, it's always with like a new year, people maybe sit back and think, is there anything like, because I know with the acting, I think now you're doing more comedy. It's sort of, you're taking a back step. Is that something like, where's your kind of goal in terms of the minute writing stand-up? Where's your sort of like your priority?
It's definitely stand-up. Like I think since I've had Rocky over the past 6 months, I've really found a love for doing it. And even though I had some shit gigs in like November, December, and a 3 or 4 where I was like, swallow me up, why am I doing this? And then you have a couple bangers and you're like, that's why, you know. And it's just, do you know what, you can guarantee that you'll have a string of class gigs that you're like, this is what I should be doing, and you'll be brought right back down to earth with a bump with a shit one. And I definitely, like, stand up is definitely what I want to be, and I am concentrating on, despite the fact that I know I have like 3 plays out this year, but they were, one of them is written pre-pandemic, and it's just coming around to its time now.
Yeah.
And also it's a one-woman dark comedy, so it is sort of just me on stage telling jokes weaved in a story.
Yeah.
So it's sort of similar, but it definitely, like, I definitely want to be like touring every year now, and my main goal for the first half of this year is to work on the tour.
Yeah. And
Got MILF until now.
Like, it'll be linked in the description. In
very
terms of excitement, is there stuff like what gets you like, oh, I love this? Like, what gives you like the excitement?
Oh,
Is it writing a new bit? Is it like writing a script? What sort of?
do you know what? Just on, like, today, I was rereading the script for Sunday Side Up, which is the play that's going out in the Lyric in April, and I was laughing reading it, and I was all, how cringe, I'm laughing at my own stuff, because I wrote it like 4 years ago and I hadn't really revisited it since. I was all, this is actually funny, this is good, I'm happy with this, because I was like, I'm going to read this and I'm going to have to do loads of work before it goes on stage, and I was reading it going, no, this is good. So I think there's nothing more satisfying to me than finishing writing a play, and you were like, oh my God, I created an entire world there. That's mad. I didn't think I could do that. And you got a couple of characters and you've hopefully rounded them out so that they all have some sort of depth to them, but also they're funny.
Yeah.
And there's like a world that you've made. And I think there's not, the worst is sitting down with the first blank page going, I have no idea what I'm doing here. And then at the end of the 90 pages, you're like, Beezer.
And what's your sort of process for that, for starting something fresh? So you're sitting there, blank page, because I always find like I would go into it with like the idea in my head,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I know I'll figure something out or write a scene or
Yeah.
you know,
The worst stuff I've written has been where I just go, I'm just going to start writing. The best stuff is when I do a plan and I go, right, here's the play, here's a paragraph that's a loose, like, that's what I want the storyline to be, and then I'll say, now let's do a scene breakdown that's like half a page each, so it might be like 5 or 6 pages of scene breakdowns. So I'll go like, scene 1, this is what I want to achieve in scene 1, 2, this is what I achieve. So then I can take it in bite-sized chunks, so I have to sit down and write. So I can sit down and say, right, okay, I'm going to write the next 8 pages is scene 3, and that's what I need to achieve in that, and then I do it like that. So it's incremental. Whereas I found that if I just sometimes, like, if I'm writing, say, not that I've only remember written 1 or 2 shorts, like short films or like 10, 12 pages sort of stuff, and I find, you don't need to plan that, just only 10 or 12 pages, and then it's a bit washy. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
I don't like. I do like. I suppose like the pitch documents first. So like I'm pitching an idea, and that kind of goes, well, this is the there, and that's kind of like a character study, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know the characters inside out. Now the biggest lesson I learned was like a lot of stuff I was pitching was maybe based off my experiences. So like maybe if like my experience was the main character, I was always a wee bit kind of like not much happened. Stuff happened to him. And then they're like, no, go in with the big characters. It's easier to tone them down than it is to big them up. So I do that, and then just sort of figure out what the story is, like what each episode will be. What is it, A, B, and C, and then just off to that. But I do like what I found really hard was like the communication with maybe like producers or other people. Like if something would change, like, we need to change this. Like I remember with the short, there was a bit where the scene where William gets his hand stuck, it actually wasn't shot as well as it should have been, but it was, the whole thing was he's trying to be basically a kid trying to be cool, ends up getting stuck in the seat in an awkward scenario in this like sofa at the bonfire site, and it's more like nothing's more embarrassing than when like a girl's, you're trying to be cool and you fucking make a dick of yourself. So like the whole thing was initially he was supposed to just be kicking back in the chair, but it was a reclining sofa and it accidentally reclined and he went off the, but then they're like, we don't have the budget for that.
I know.
So what do you do? And I was like, well then just have his arm stuck down the side. But see, to get there they were like, oh, we don't have the budget, we can't do that scene. And I was like, well, can you not just get his arm stuck? Same thing. Yeah. And then we're like, okay. And to me it was like they were coming like this is going to be a big problem. Yeah. So I think sometimes whenever you come from outside of like writing or with just like a practical job head on, you're like, well, we just do that. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah.
But even in the Handy, I had written a scene where they were in a lift, and the producers came straight back to me and they were all, we can't build a lift on the stage. And I was like, no, but we can stand still. You can play the sound of like, we can light it, and we can act like we can press that, we can act like we're in a lift, and it worked perfectly fine. And that was the producer coming, we can't build a lift, and I was like, no, but the director will be able to make it look like we're in a lift. Everyone has their job, do you know what I mean? But I find writing a play way easier than writing a TV thing. Even though TV things are shorter, I find it much harder, just it's a completely different format.
Yeah, like it's I don't know. I think like I suppose creatively you come up with a funny idea.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, where could it go? Is it a sketch? Is it a bit of stand up?
Yeah.
Is it a like? There's even some stuff that I've gone, oh, this would be good stand up. And you're like, nah, it hasn't worked. So let's put it in something else.
Exactly. All my stuff that's like not quite punchy enough for stand up, I'll put it in a play because then it's funny conversation. Because I don't like whenever there's like jokes in a play, as if like we know we're funny, because that becomes really false. People don't talk like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But whenever it's like funny conversation rather than like here's a punchline.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
It's a bit forced.
I'm going to do a sketch. I'm saying it here what it is. So if anyone copies it, I know you've stolen the idea.
Me.
I was doing.
I'll put it on my Instagram next week.
But like we can be in it. Like it's another
Yeah.
thing I think too. Like I'm gonna maybe try and do a few more sketches, get some stuff filmed, and maybe work with people who I want to work with, who maybe just aren't everywhere and everything, doing everything. You know.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be in it then in that case, but it'd be like we're talking to Andrew about or talking to Andrew Ryan on his podcast, and he was like. Yeah, this guy was parking in a disabled space and he wasn't disabled, and it pissed me off. And like he's parts like, and I was like, yeah, like parent and toddler spaces, it's fucking. And then so my idea was like, oh, that'd be a real funny sketch. Just have a guy parking in a parent and toddler space, and then a guy comes up to him and is like, hey man, you know what's a parent and toddler space?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And he's like, you know, no kids in your car? And he's like, and he looks inside and there's no car seats or anything. He's, what the fuck? The guy opens the boot and there's like butler tied up pretending to be a kid, and he's like, and he's like, oh fuck, sorry, my bad man, sorry, you work away.
I thought you were going to say he gets out but he's in a wheelchair. He's like, well, what do you do now?
Yeah, no, so it's just like he ignores the crime because there's literally a child in his car, and he's like, oh yeah, no, my bad, no worries, dude. You know,
very good.
That. So I'll maybe get that particular wee bit cut out in case it is we're making, but if I don't, this will be fun to imagine. So. But I could never do that as stand up, you know.
Well, do you know what? It's hard to know, like, whenever you have an idea, or how do you form that, or what way do you, or whose perspective is it to be from?
Yeah.
Like, it is tricky. And like, see, when you're writing for so many different things, like you are as well, you've like a couple different projects that you're always writing for, and you're like, which one takes priority? Which one do you write for the most? Like, which one do you spend more time on? Which one? Do you know what I mean? Like, I find a lot of months sometimes pass, and I don't actually get to write any stand up.
I find either deadlines or excitement are my two driving forces. So I'm like, I have a bit. This is really.
And do you want to get out
done.
as soon as you can to go do it?
Stand up wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have a bit about Stephen Hawking I want to do, but then after a week it'll be boring, and everyone's doing a bit in Stephen Hawking. But I think
Because he's on that list.
yeah, but it was, I think, like I said something about it on a podcast and it came across well.
What was it? Oh, wow, okay.
So he's on like the list who he went, like people who were back and
Associated with
forth
Epstein.
Yeah, so I think my sort of take was, you know, like I think if you're being molested by Stephen Hawking, maybe you need to take some of the blame.
yeah. So how easy did you make it for him?
And then, like I said to Catherine, I was like, "Is this offensive?" And it might be, but
I don't think it is. I find that funny.
Yeah, no, but this next bit, I was like, you know, could I compare Stephen Hawking to, like, you know, an orange juicing machine, like an orange juicer? And she goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Like, he's the machine, but you need to get somebody else to take the orange and do that. Like, he's not going to be able to do it himself, you know." And she's like, "Yeah, maybe that is." And I was like, "Well, figure it out. You know, we'll do it and we'll see." But
no, I enjoy that.
yeah, so but and then again, that could just drop off. I'm trying to think. Like, if you look at your notes, like my notes are always, I've always
The
popped.
weirdest shit.
So, and then you ever look at it and you go, "What is this?" Like,
I know.
Let me see if I've anything.
And also, I write them sometimes if I've had a drink,
yeah,
and you're like, no.
like explain that. Like, why is that in my note?
Alexis Dickwater.
Like, what am I doing with the name Alexis Dickwater? You know, I just think that was I came up with a name, right? And I thought, this is a funny name as a surname, the Honey Rats, and I think that's a funny name.
Like the Sugar Babes.
Like, but I've ended up putting them into a thing and pitching about like this posh family, and they're called the Honey Rats, and it's perfect, you know.
I've just written the sentence: couples who have sex on their wedding night are bound to get divorced. Because obviously.
Because like, but that is the funniest bit when you look and you go, what does this even mean?
I've also written here about when you hear on the news a sword got seized. That's it. A sword got seized. I think there was news one time, and it was in like Portadown, and there was like 14 guns and 10 bags of cocaine and a samurai sword have been seized from a house in Portadown. You're like, why do they have a sword?
Yeah, like it's the samurai swords or something. It's so smacked out.
Is
samurai
it?
Samurai
Oh, like
swords.
on the wall?
Yeah.
Fuck,
And I love karate, kid.
I know.
Like,
I'm on to Asia.
But like, it's another. I think another thought similar to that. Like, why do they have samurai swords? Why is it whenever like someone gets their computer seized for being like having child abuse images?
Yeah.
Why don't they have like 3? I always said 15,000
15,000.
images.
I know.
Like, why? It's bad enough that if you have one, it's bad enough.
Yeah, why do you need so
why
many?
do you need so many?
Maybe they get sent to you in big folders.
Yeah, that's what someone said. I mean, like, well, I don't know enough about nonsense to know that, so maybe you just want to fuck off, you know. So, but yeah, it's just, and then there's that one thought, and you're like, what can I do with this? So you could throw that into something else, couldn't it?
I know, but that is funny. That is funny. But then that is very true. Like, why?
Yeah, like it's excessive. Like, you know, like if you're even just watching like regular porn, you wouldn't watch 15,000 clips.
No, I know.
Weird.
It's sooner or later you're gonna jizz. Like, do you get through 15,000?
Like realistically, maybe that's what we need to ask.
Yeah.
How many do the nonces get through before
Yeah,
their
are
computers
you going?
get seized?
Ew. Maybe it's like nonce tender, and they're like yuck, yuck,
I know.
yuck.
'Cause that was another thing I
That's
sort of
awful.
said about being like a nonce. I was like, you know, I think you know, maybe that's what the problem is. The kids here just aren't sexy enough. And it's like, you know, but I know that's a bit of a hacky thing, isn't it? But, you know, I that was another thing I was pleased about, that I'm not a nonce. I'm like, thank God for that. Because, you know,
Yeah, because it's in you.
Yeah, I know.
No, but it's in you. Because this is going to be a real controversial thought, and I don't know if I should say it out loud, but
It's coming. I can feel it.
I'm gonna like, being a paedophile, if it's a state of mind,
Is you I think,
and you don't do anything about it, I think, because you know it's wrong, then you're somebody who's just sick and needs help.
Like,
it's when you act upon it, then you're a bad guy.
and then you become a child molester.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think paedophilia is a condition, isn't it? And like being a paedophile is someone who has that condition.
Attraction to,
Because then, if you're a child molester, you act on it and it's whatever. Because I mean, like some people have, and I hate to use the word fetish to be into kids, but you know, like.
Because some people are into feet fucking.
But like it's really good if someone's like, oh, you're a paedophile. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not actually.
By the way,
act on it.
I have no idea what feet fucking is. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, I don't know why people are into, but feet fucking is a thing. People
Do you mean
are
like somebody wanking you with their feet?
Yeah, but like I've never had that done to me. You know, and maybe I think it's people that are into, like, you know, monkeys and animals because they use their feet for eating bananas.
Do you what?
Oh, that
what?
guy!
That scared me.
That guy who watched you drinking the drink.
I took like a long blink, and then when I opened them, you were shouting. Scared the shit out of me. I thought somebody had come on to attack us. That man.
That guy back with you drinking from your foot. He must have been a foot fetish.
Of course he does. Of course he does. That was the point.
I can tell you what's wrong with your back because it's on your feet.
Here, but also, like, AI is going to flag this episode up as like a fit. There's going to be fit people at this.
I know.
But like, apparently you can make a fortune from fit shit.
But then, have you ever looked at a foot and gone, oh, I look at a feet and go, feet are stinking.
Of course. But like, some people are into it. Like, I always say, if you can thank it, someone's wanking it.
You always say that.
I am never done saying that.
But no, there are so many freaky people out there.
Oh my God. Like,
so many.
Like, I know some of them. Like, some people are into weird shit. And even like, even stuff that's not that weird, but to me would be weird if it's just outside of normal sex.
Yeah, well, I knew this girl who was dating a guy who was, she was like, is this weird, Dave? And I was like, what is it? He's really into wearing nappies. And like, I was like, yeah, it is weird. Because then if he's got a nappy fetish, if he has kids, and the fetish is the nappies, that's a problem.
But is he wearing the nappy so that he can shit in it or
No, I
pee in
just
it?
think he just likes the feel and the touch of the nappy and all, which is weird.
But sacrifice it up to the gods and just get on with your day and wear a pair
I know, but then
boxers.
like I remember, like I did a bit about it on an old show. I was like, you know, nowadays people like you speak to maybe younger people and they're all like, we're into this and all. It's like, oh, you're just stinking wee pervs and all. But there's someone like, oh, how do you know you're not into something? You know, it's not like avocados. You know, but someone's like, shit. You know, you might like being shat on. I'm like, I would not like to be shat on because shit is shit. And then my bit was that I knew. Remember once. I was dating a girl and I was having a shower in her house, and I remember there was a white towel on the thing hanging and had a brown stain on it. Now, I knew 99% that was
makeup,
fake tan or makeup, but the 1% of me that thought that might be shit, I'm not rubbing my face with her shit, you know.
So what did you do?
I just
towel air dried.
I just stood by the window and just let the air. No, I just.
Do you know what? Like in that situation, you're thinking she's the weirdo because she might have wiped her arse with shit.
Yeah.
But actually, you're the weirdo, or wiped your face. But you're the you're the weirdo, just stood there loving him. Jesus on the cross, just hoping you'll dry soon.
Yeah, but like that.
Nothing worse than air drying.
Oh no, I love to get dry, and that's my problem. I have.
I love to get dry.
I love being dry. I hate being wet and I hate being cold.
Yeah,
I
same.
hate being cold. Is the worst. Now I love it. Like I think I even might have said this last week in the podcast, but there was a time Catherine came into the shower and she was like, "What are you doing in here?" Because I was just had been out in the cold walking the dog or something and it was frozen. I was just going, oh yes, just how like
in the
she's like,
shower.
what are you doing? Like all these noises. I'm like, I just love a shower. You know,
Yeah.
it's like nothing dirty, just a nice
I think
shower.
like once you have kids, the smallest bits of like satisfaction you can get from something, you just buzz off it.
Oh.
Like you just be like say if I get into bed at night and I can like rest my weary bones, I'd be like, or like you just get like a coffee in silence or any of the above, you just be like, or even like I took myself and got a back massage the other day because my back's fucked.
Yeah, because you're fit and you're drinking out of the foot.
Because I'm a Quasimodo, and I was like, it was only a half-hour back massage, but the whole time I was like, this is living.
Speak just real quick sideways. Quasimodo is so I remember there was a guy I went to school with, and he was like, we're taught like maybe in primary school, and he was like, why is he called Quasimodo? They should have called him Spazimodo. I was like, well, that's wholly offensive, and it's not.
I know.
But he thought he was like a genius. Like, why has no one thought of this?
But you wonder, did the makers of Quasimodo go, we'll name him Quasimodo so that people can have a bit of fun with his name? We'll suggest it, but we'll not say it.
And my granny once told me and called him Quasimo, and I used to think about that quite a lot. It makes me laugh.
Who was called him Quasimodo?
She goes, who's that wee hunchback called Quasimo? I was like, what? And Quasimo, it's just a funny word. I think it's already disrespectful enough. And poor wee Quasimodo, let alone call him. He is the wee Quasimo over there.
Wasn't there a sandwich place in Belfast called Quizmo?
I don't know.
I think it.
I mean, if there was a sandwich place called Quasimodo's, I would go there.
I would 100% eat the base.
Oh, God, love poor wee Quasimodo. What a guy.
He's not a real guy.
And, like, he's based on something, the Elephant Man, probably.
Do you ever see all those hidden meanings behind like all the Disney stuff as well? Like the Disney castles, apparently all like phallic symbols, which means dicks.
Yeah.
Just like big dick symbols. And then it's meant to be like, well, do you know there's the whole thing about who gets kissed? Snow White.
Yeah.
And now
The
they're like
Sleeping Beauty.
banning
Yeah.
or Sleeping Beauty.
Well, Snow White's the same though.
She
She
gets
gets
kissed.
snogged when she's dead.
And they're banning it because of necrophilia. And also
Yeah.
just like unconsensual kissing.
Yeah. But then, again, what I would go back on that to be like, well, then just leave her dead.
Yeah.
You know, what do you
Oh,
wanna
what's
do?
the alternative then? I leave her
she's going to
dead.
be dead forever. But then you can't even call it, like, they're doing a new Snow White, and it's like just going to be like Snow White and the 7 guys.
Yeah. 7
Like,
full-size guys. Oh,
you know.
they can be... Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
I know, it's hard to do. You know what I would do? I'd be like, listen, we're just going to call it Snow White and the 7 invalids, and they're all going to have different disabilities.
Yes, some that
Yeah.
aren't visible
Yeah.
and some that are.
Yes, and some that really are.
Some
Yeah.
Quasimodo's one of them.
But it's like, I watched Snow White the other day, and it's like, it's just because they're little people, you know, and actually I would argue with Disney that they aren't actually dwarves because they're not the proper dimensions.
They're not
but
that small.
You know,
Yeah.
You know, and like,
Use dwarfism as short limbs.
yeah, and they don't have the wee hands and all and the big head. Like it just doesn't match. Apart from Dopey, he's a wee bit, accurate.
Yeah.
But I sometimes I'm like, people need to lighten up a bit too. Like, say if you're going Disney's offensive, you need to change that. Maybe you need to get out more.
I know, stop hitting
know?
your kids in front of Disney.
Because like you said the thing there that's so true. Like I remember before we had kids, like even whenever like we were in FNT together, and like the amount of just like lying about we did in our spare time, like just doing nothing.
Oh my God.
You know what? Lying in front of the TV in bed, naps.
Yeah,
Like,
naps.
But you'd be so bored now without kids, wouldn't you?
I remember, like Sean and I used to get bored all the time. Like whenever, so we would, like, the first 7 or 8 years we were together, we would have his kids half the week and then they'd be in their mums half the week. And for the half the week they weren't there, we'd be like, what would we do? I mean, like in the evenings or like or the weekend, and we'd be like actually bored. And I'd be like, no, I'd be like, I don't remember the last time I felt boredom.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like, I'm not saying that every day is the thrill, but like you don't have time to be like bored. If you're time on your own, you're just going to sleep.
Because like that thing you said about getting into bed, I hopped into bed the other night to read a book, and I just remember hitting a nice cold bed and went, isn't this nice? And it was that sort of feeling of
And you're almost going,
yeah,
you're like, and do you ever get into bed, like if you do by any chance manage to catch yourself a nap sometime and the kids are sleeping and you get to have a nap and you're all too excited to sleep.
Yeah.
It's
So
too
you
exciting.
know what the best though is, and it was whenever I was really sick over Christmas that I had it. I was looking after Matilda and Holly was at school, and I was like, Matilda, Daddy just can't today. And I was like, and I'm trying to make it exciting, do you want to hop in, lie on Mummy's pillow, and you can like watch a wee movie and Daddy will just lie beside you? And I got a full like half-hour nap. She sat there with 3 tablets. I was like, this is good.
Amazing.
And then I was like, right, I need to go up and entertain you now. Let's play with your doll's house, or like
I do
you know,
shit.
do something, because I am really like, and I wasn't well, like, but we got there and it's like, I'll feed you, you know.
That's what you. It's just constant snacks all day. When it was like, oh, we snack, and you were like, no, you've had 14 snacks. Here's your lunch, and her lunch might also just be a snack. And she's all, no, what a snack, and I'd be all right. Here's your snack then. It's fajitas.
But Matilda goes to me the other day. I was like, right. She goes, I want a snack. And I was like, well, you can have some fruit. And she was like, or Maltesers.
When did you obsess with Maltesers?
Like, what? I mean, no. She goes, but Maltesers. And I was like, almost like flirting with me a bit, but Maltesers.
She did. What is this thing at the minute where she goes, she like preempts that you might say no. Like she'll, Mummy, can I please have your phone for just 5 minutes? And she says please in 5, like a crazy chick. She'll, Mummy, can I please have your phone for just 5 minutes? And you're all, how can I say no? How funny? Like, that's so funny.
Yeah,
but also no.
I know, because then like Matilda will end up doing stuff on my phone. Like what was real funny one, like she or maybe Holly, that doesn't matter. One of my kids was flicking around my phone and added one of like Catherine's best friend's brother. I've never met, like I know of him, but then it's like he so and so's accepted you as a friend on Facebook. I'm like, it's weird, like he's gonna go, why is he added me?
Yeah. And
like this now we have banter about my mate, you know, we're like, oh, there's my mate so and so.
There's one specific person that Winter keeps phoning for my phone, like butt dialing. Like no, she's not butt dialing, she's like pressing it with her hand. But you're like, why do you keep ringing that same guy?
Yeah.
That same guy's all, you're making it pretty clear here that you want a piece of me.
Yeah.
You're a married girl, but she just keeps ringing him from my phone. I have to be like, I'm really sorry, that's her again.
It's Tim, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's to blame for that? You're like, well, it's actually Winter in this case.
I know.
Listen, I know this has been a lot of fun. We could probably do another hour and a bit, but things to go, people
we'll do
to
it
see.
again.
Kids, you know what? We will, unless we're cancelled about that dwarf chat. But Quasimodo, fuck off.
Fuck off, Quasimodo.
Who cares, you know?
We dopey Quasimodo.
Yeah, you know what he did? He didn't burn the thing down. It was something else.
Did he not get all the gold? Churn the gold? Oh no, that's
Rumpelstiltskin.
They're definitely the same guy, aren't they?
No, they're just both wee disabled dudes that nobody loves. Like, that's the worst, because seeing the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you're like, Esmeralda's going to see the good in Quasimodo. Nah.
Yeah, and Quasimodo
doesn't. She's like, I tell you what, I'll just still go and get off of this proper prince looking guy, and you can be my wee mate, sure.
I know, surely the lesson there would have been she ended up going with the
yeah, no, but Rumpelstiltskin, no, he was a wee rat. So in fact, he was owed some dough about something, and then they didn't pay him, so he's like, I'm going to get you, you know.
Nah.
I'm going to spin yarn out of your hair.
we dick. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's
Listen,
been a pleasure.
so just before you go, where can people get you? Where can people find
you? My Instagram at Diona Doherty, or you can come to Got MILF, which is my first stand-up tour, on sale now. Belfast and Derry have the best availability. Most other venues I think are sold out.
And your one-woman show? Which
is called Sunny Side Up, and it's in the Lyric this April, and tickets are on show right now. No, they're not on show. They're on sale.
Yeah, but they're also on show if you don't buy. If they're being showcased.
Wow.
Yeah. But buy them. Diona, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
I'm the sly guy.